All right, guys, the mystery is solved on this knife. This is the Tuff Knives Slim Switch, I believe is what it's called. And this comes to me from Adam. He loaned this in. When I did the unboxing, I had no idea who this came from. It was just a return address that I didn't recognize. There was no note. There was no nothing. So then I had posted the video and said, hey, whoever's knife this is, please reach out. Let me know. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. Blah, blah, blah. Right? I got a lot of stuff. I didn't have a message about it. Things like that. So Adam reached out and goes, hey, dude, that was my knife. Remember, we talked about me sending it, but it was at Tuff Knives for a spot treatment. So I didn't recognize the name and address because it didn't say Tuff Knives. It just had the address in Pennsylvania and whatnot. So we got that cleared up, and this belongs to Adam, and it came fresh from a spot treatment from George, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name, George B., the owner of Tuff Knives. This is a pretty cool knife in a couple of different regards. It's different because it's like a half dress. You know, it's not really a full dress knife because, in my opinion, and I think generally speaking, a full dress knife is exotic materials on the handle and exotic materials on the blade, right? Well, this is just S35VN with a Timascus scale and a Timascus pocket clip. What I typically see or have seen a lot is the reverse, kind of a fancy blade and a generic or standard handle. Not to say there's anything generic or standard about a TJ Fisher Cobra, but TJ does call this a half-dress Cobra because it's got the fancy blade and he has polished around the edges of the titanium. Well, Jeff did it opposite. He kind of put a plain-ish S35VM blade, two-tone, which I love this blade finish. This, I mean, granted, I do love a Sanmai. Don't get me wrong. That is beautiful, and I would always kind of choose a Sanmai blade. But if that wasn't an option, this is the next best option. Kind of that acid-washed bevel and the satin flats, I think is just a beautiful combination. And when you have such a big bevel right behind the tip, I don't know if that's the right term I would use, but basically behind the edge here is 0.08, and your regular behind the edge is 0.10. So it's super thin and slicey down here. However, really strong tip for piercing, twisting, you know, really getting at some work, I think is beautiful. I think it's kind of one of my favorite blades is that acid washed, so you don't see any scratches because kind of already scratched, so to speak, right? I am a sucker for Timascus. Beautiful Timascus, by the way. Timascus backspacer, Timascus pocket clip that works really well. It's got a lot of retention. It's all, you know, I'm not going to say that it's too stiff, but it's right there. It's like perfect. And I know I harp on pocket clips all the time, so I really want to emphasize that I love this clip. It is, you know, I would have maybe rounded that a little bit more on that one little point there, but it's fine. Okay? Timascus pivot collar there, and a kind of a raised, pointed, conical shaped pivot on this side, which is okay. At first glance, you know, if you look at it like this, you're like, man, that really sticks out from the scale. It does. However, it's conical shaped, cone shaped. It's not a hot spot. It doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel weird in your pocket whatsoever. Yeah, I think it's totally perfect. Now, one thing that is weird about this, or I don't know, I'm not sure I want to say a negative or a pain point. First off, you do have a patch that comes with it. I'm going to throw that to the side. The blade, when it's closed, is right at the edge. Like, let me open it here. And you can see as you look right in here, you'll see the blade come into play. It's right there. Like right there. And you feel it in your hand when you close it. Now, I have a Sharknivko Ryu, and it is very similar. However, in testing, this one is even farther down. You don't really see it. I was nervous when I first got the Ryu because when you close it, I feel the blade pressure against my middle finger. And it's the same with this knife. My ring finger, sorry. I feel it kind of pressing right there. And if my middle finger was there, I would feel that too, because it's even more pronounced there. However, previously I did a video with a hot dog and ran it across here multiple times and it did not cut. I did not pull a hot dog out for this one, but I did take a hank, wrapped it around my finger and rubbed the hell out of this. And I did not even cut or scratch the hank. So apparently you're not going to get cut. I'm shocked by that because of the placement of it. I was sure that that's a problem. That's my one negative on this whole knife. I get it. We're trying to squeeze in as much blade as possible, height-wise. I would rather err on the side of caution and make the blade slightly shorter, less tall, narrower, whatever the term is. Okay? That's a Dirk thing. You may feel different. I don't know. So a little bit about Jeff. He started out just pimping knives. You get a plain Jane knife, you send it into him and he'll anodize it. He'll, grind some stuff. He'll just do whatever pimping stuff you want. And he's graduated from that into a very accomplished knife maker in his own right here in Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I don't know exactly what city. I guess it says on the box. Boyertown? I don't know. It's hard to read the writing. Anyway, let's just talk about the actual knife. 4.5 inches closed, 7 7/8 overall. The blade is 3.4. The cutting edge is 3.6. Behind the edge, 0.01, 0.80. Overall thickness is 0.164 for the blade, and overall thickness is 0.496. Weighs in at 5.6 ounces. 2 gripes, nitpicking, I'm sure. Little bit of a harsh edge. Not going to call it sharp edge, but it's a little harsh on the pocket clip and that depth of the blade. But other than that, man, this thing is freaking cool. Here it is next to the Ryu since I pulled it out, which is also very cool in its own right. Of which somebody was just asking me today to buy this from me. I don't know, because I did just post on the day of filming a pre-Black Friday sale where I'm selling a bunch of knives for other people. A couple of my own, a couple of watches, flashlight, just some stuff. Here it is with the Kubi KB237. And here it is with the Spyderco Delica, just to give you a few size comparisons. I told the person I was not ready to sell the Ryu yet. I think there's a couple of people that have asked me to sell it in the past. I don't know. You never know. There is an Omega watch that I am looking at that I would love to get, but I don't know that I could sell this in time. I don't know that I could sell 2 or 3 others in time to buy a watch. I'm not sure that that's the direction I want to go anyway. So for now, the Ryu stays in the collection. I'm a big fan of Sharknivko, and I am a good friend of Edison, the owner, as well as his wife, Mariella. So, not sure that I can sell the Ryu at this particular moment. That being said, thank you guys very much for watching. Adam, Thanks for loaning this in, and sorry for the confusion. I will get this shipped out right away because I know you're anxious to have it back, having it just come back from spa. It's in perfect shape, runs great, feels good, and is a fantastic example of a custom knife.